Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovative, and amazing Propagandacast with me, host and pro lane, the one and only Master Propaganda here. I was like Defender, the fun, and feature an interesting double feature of WSF versus double DAK. North it is FutureNP and Noob fighting for freedom, democracy, and liberty. Here with the US 1st Armoured Division, Able and Baker companies. In the south it is Flokl and Blueskid here with the Deutsche Afrika Corps and the 16th Panzer Division. We got Armoured Support right away, and then we got definitely some suspicions of Armoured out of the Americans, which, I mean, you know, not really surprised. USF Armoured continues to be the most popular. It's just what part of Armoured is popular now. It's, of course, the Scots that are heavily dominating the USF metagame internally. So we're off here. As always, big hearty thanks to my patron supporters for the continued generous and wonderful support of the Propagandacast, and a big thanks to those who keep commenting and liking my videos. Helps out immensely with the YouTube algorithms. So, Pioneers heading eastwards, Panzers on the way there for Flokl, Rifleman for FutureNP, Blueskid with a similar ability as to Flokl, and Noob here, Rifleman Engineers. I mean, not too many surprises here. Like, they engaged by the scouts, east side, Panzer peering forwards. Overall steady progress here on both sides, neither really looking to, you know, drop any surprises in there. It's all quiet here. Panzer Pioneers, of course, being some fairly elite troops within the German Panzer Division, as they weren't just, you know, engineered troops, they were also assault troops, so they were typically expected to, like, you know, go into, like, all the hard spots as well. Little fun fact there, which you definitely wouldn't get the impression of from games like Company of Heroes, but they were very much that. And like any, like, typical German division, the Pioneer unit was typically got, like, you know, one of the elite elements alongside the reconnaissance. This means, you know, Grenadier, or Infantry divisions, Panzer divisions, Fallschirmjäger divisions, basically. So the east side here, we can see some low approachment here. We also see a lot of barbed wire here from Flokl. Obviously looking to make different from the Americans that are getting there. Thumbs up. Always good to, if possible, think a bit ahead there. Third Rifle Squad for FutureNP. West side, he's pushing him against Blueskid here. Rifleman scouts moving in. And here up close, cut-off point, they're being disrupted. Good move there by Flokl and his bike.
The enemy has taken a victory point.
Back behind down, he's taking a lot of damage. Flokl does and narrowly salvage it. Cut-off point, of course, has been captured. Victory points being seized to the Americans, getting a slight lead over the Germans now that the Germans have managed to bleed out the Allies already a bit here. Engineers sneaking up behind here. And in the west side here, Panzers moving up, casting the Rifle Squads here. Perhaps in a bit of a tight spot, we'll have to see. Rushing in here. Blueskid goes hard against FutureNP. Rifleman closing in with them on Garans and the Thompsons. Going in hard in the name of freedom. You see, he actually ends up withdrawing here a bit, which is interesting. I would argue he's kind of winning this engagement already here, so him withdrawing doesn't actually make a lot of sense. He just ends up taking more damage without dealing any, and he does it again. I'm guessing he's concerned about other units supporting, which I can see, but even then, like, that engagement just won so hard. East side here, though, meanwhile, though, Flokl is having a bit less of a great time compared to Blueskid here, as Noob goes in hard in the name of freedom here, pushing into the German lines. And we can see Flokl is just slowly staging a careful withdrawal here. But his men are being bled out at a pretty fast pace, and he just can't manage the engagement as easily. We also got their tech up there for Blueskid already. Infantry support center and weapon support center there for FutureNP. We might see a wipe here actually on Flokl in the early game. That would certainly be quite painful. They're losing quite a bit of manpower there, and of course an infantry unit. And does he get? Oh, he gets it! Big blow there to Flokl in the early game. Definitely going to be tough to replace, and of course he does do it, but that's manpower that could go on like towards tech or anything else. Meanwhile, Panzer Pioneers out here for Blueskid to rush in to assist his teammate here, who's definitely feeling the heat here out of freedom and democracy, and a grenade goes off there, damaging the engine. More troops rushing eastwards here, willingly in a sense conceding the west, but also realizing the east is important if they want like a more easy to hold fuel point. So, rough start here for the Germans. Americans leading in hard. They're leading in very hard. There we go, though. You can see Blueskid smartly here moves up, of course, anticipating the retreat path here. Tries to capture the unit to retreat. The half-tech unit can't, but the Panzer Grenadiers, who don't have the legs blown off or any sort of like disability like that, can quickly move up, catch the engineers. And gets it. 250 after that, the rest of it getting wiped out though. A lot of infantry moving in here from FutureNP over to Blueskid and over to Noob, who's also going for more rifling. We got the Infantry Support Center here. 250 after track kaput. Could we see another wipe here in the Americans though? And oh, we don't get it. Very fortunate there for the Americans. They haven't been able to inflict so far some heavy loss on the Germans in the early game that they've really been suffering themselves. So far, very strong stuff there. Blueskid with the ambulance, and there we go, Noob with Armoured, as predicted. And again, not incorrect. Just Scots are such an absolutely, you know, key part of the USF metagame right now, both in 1v1s and 2v2s. Because they're just very efficient for their cost, and again they're just so difficult to like get rid of once they're going. And of course can easily be supported by whatever you need to get them supported by. So upgrade there on the way for Blueskid's light support company. All is good. Pressuring up here, trying to sever there the Allied supply lines. I think it's a sharp move from the Germans. Thumbs up there, good play with Blueskid and Flokl. Help slow down the Allied economy just a bit and might just delay Scots or whatever else they might be planning there. Half-track on the way, going for the anti-tank half-track, which has definitely also become a lot more popular after countless buffs. Motor pool, though, he... No, actually, that's also a weapon support center. Yeah, both were weapon support centers there. Half-tracking southwards. East side, we can all see the Germans making progress here, again reclaiming some of the lost ground, plus make a few new gains here. Rifling forward to the M1 Orans, soon to be upgraded by the M1980 BAR, or Browning Automatic Rifle. Panzer Pioneer, they need to retreat. I mean, I can see what he's doing there, but he's risking too much by doing it the way he's doing, because again, they're going to be just getting shot at and focused down pretty hard from the riflemen. They have very good accuracy on the moves, so again, just trying to like slowly withdraw there is typically not ideal. And there you go, pour it on them, and the BARs, and that really means once more here we see Flokl's defense of the castle ruins very much just collapsing on itself. And in the east here, back hits a mine, good work man, of course. 250 half-track with Panzer's move, and a half-track result for Noob, guessing another anti-tank half-track, maybe an M16, we'll have to see. And the west side, we can see FutureNP is just making steady progress. Also got the bars out. This is also another advantage of the whole anti-tank half-track move. You basically don't spend nearly as much fuel going for that, say, you know, taking up with the motor pool and then, say, going for the Greyhound or something else, or Chaffee, whatever, and just going for that. So again, you can sort of save a bit of resources and get up bars fast as well, but also making sure you're still like covered against like, you know, vehicles or armor. So very nasty stuff there. Blackfilling half turn there for Blueskid. East side, the American forces, of course, got the Scot. They unlocked for Noob. And I'm expecting to see that anti-tank half-track upgrade from as well soon enough. I mean, he could decide not to go for it, but it seems unlikely. Flak filling out there for Blueskid. Not Blueskid, but Flokl. But Blueskid's got his own out now as well. He cancelled it just in time instead of going for assault grenadiers. Bit of a quick change there. You also see that Blueskid is yet to pick a battle group. And there you go, anti-tank half-track for Noob. Germans, they're definitely feeling the pressure for the Americans of the 1st Armoured Division. German lines are being pressured at all points, hardened Panzergrenadiere are facing the weight of the US war machine here at almost every point. Assault Grenadiers almost done here for Blueskid, giving definitely a bit more assault troops here. Flokl in the east, they're continuing to face off against the tides of Noob. And these tides will now hit only harder as the Scot has arrived, and of course immediately Veterans 1. There you go, anti-tank grenade off in the half-track here. So the Germans are really just, you know, reeling under the pressure now. The Americans can just unleash them again. The timings are very aggressive. In some ways, it's actually fairly tough for the Germans to punish them. Unless, like, the Americans aggressively misplay, the Germans get very lucky here. And again, didn't get a wipe there. Unfortunately, I find personally a very common element when you're fighting against the Americans. Panzerarmee Commando Blueskid rushing ahead there. Hand of Threes likely to try and hunt down those Scots. First one though has yet to really be committed, but it is out here though for Noob and back to Flokl. Just enough note here that Blueskid is yet to pick a battle group. Note to FutureNP who's still yet to pick a battle group. I mean, he could still in a pinch go for Armoured. But he wants to go back here from Blueskid. Also goes down. And victory points wise, that's only gap with the 420 versus the 306. Veteran Squall is up for Flokl, of course, to boost his infantry a bit more. And we got a pack 30 out here as well. The Panzerabwehrkanone 38. Sort of an early to mid-war anti-tank, and that would slowly be supplanted by the pack 40, though typically only in the more elite units. Many units would still by 1944-45 use the pack 38, but typically not the higher quality staff divisions, like typically like, you know, lower rated infantry divisions. Still be using that one. So, little fun fact there. West side, the American forces probing in here. Blueskid's lines are getting absolutely steadily cracked up here, and we got FutureNP with advanced infantry and a howitzer. Prefer to just apply heavy explosive firepower to kinetically break apart the German lines. East side, fresh push here by Noob. Flokl there, just finding his men of course in positions being absolutely burned apart here by white phosphorus. Making it further difficult, of course, for Flokl to maintain any defense if, like, any hard point just gets smothered in it. So, really tough spot for the Germans right now. Map control is in the east side, tenuous at best. On the west side, there is some progress, but even that, you know, one setback can quickly cause the entire thing to fall apart.
Proximity alarm near our victory point.
Panzerarmee Commando up there. Flokl has yet to consider that, obviously, having his resources going elsewhere. But now he gets it up as well. The Panzerarmee Commando. The Scot is just aggressive drumming in, engaging with its 75mm howitzer. And the howitzer is now ready for FutureNP. The M2A 105mm howitzer. And there you go. 250 half-track engaged with the anti-tank half-track. Note the Germans would have their own anti-tank half-tracks very late towards the heart of the war, though kinda official at least. I mean, even like, you know, seemingly by 1944, there were some improvised measures to give them anti-tank half-tracks. It was really only by late 1944-45 that the Packwagen, as it was colloquially known, would become a sort of actual thing. Basically 250 on half-track with a Pack 40 mounted on it. But even then, you'd have cases like they'd mount Pack 38s on the 250 half-track, actually, creating a sort of light anti-tank half-track. Or using this half-track with a Pack 38 mounted on it and then pointing forwards. There we go. Again, forced here back here by a swinging American attack there out of Noob, and we got the Scots there. Two of them now, of course. Further complicating matters here for the Germans. Supported all by an anti-tank half-track and a lot of very gun-heavy Americans. And of course the terrain here certainly further suits them, as they can easily fire across it. And that way cover themselves from, like, you know, getting shot back at. In the center there, though, Blueskid continue to have some better luck. His FutureNP just doesn't have the Scots. And so, of course, lacks those more immediate tools of pain and destruction. Flokl bringing in another Pack 38 here. Probably wishing he could mount them on his half-tracks.
Territory sector out of contact.
In the west side here, bit of lighter progress. 250 have been engaged here with the anti-tank half-track. Another wave attack here, but FutureNP sweeping in those bars. Blueskid falling a bit back here, though he may want to, of course, get into cover. But the best results. And there you go, anti-tank grenade again here on the half-track. Almost have it here with the anti-tank half-track. One more shot, then that's going to be the end of it. And down it goes. Further applying a crack here in Flokl's defenses as he loses a crucial tool, but in fact one of his few remaining tools, to really contain Noob's infantry. So the situation here for him is really not improving. But he's holding the line now. at a high cost.
Our munitions point is
And there you go, a Panzer III there roaming about with assault grenades. Actual mechanized infantry tactics here out of Blueskid. 2 thumbs up. I've seen that a lot. Nope, the camouflage pattern uses an early war pattern. So that's actually something they do instead of just using Panzergrad. They actually would mix in some brown. Give sort of an early camouflage pattern. Rushing in there with the Panzer III. MD on the way there for FutureNP, but nice work there, Blueskid. 2 thumbs up. No to Blueskid. We still has yet to pick a battle group, and over here to Noob. Of course, that is Armoured. So with that, Blueskid is able to turn the tide, and the Americans are a little less well prepared now with the Panzer III on the field here. The Ausführung L. So the first mass-produced model there with the high-velocity 50mm gun. Then later be the Model M, which was a more up-armored version, and then finally the Model N, where they just went to the same gun as the Stu D to at least, you know, have something bigger, but even that was very short-term. And shortly after they just halted production, the Panzer III moved all towards Stugs. Oh, actually riding back on it. Very nice. Thumbs up. First Armoured Division seeing a bit more assistance out of the 16th Panzer Division. Certainly coming at a high cost for the Germans. MD-14 immediately snuffed out. We got a lot of mines here. Very sensible move, I think, there out of Flokl. It's going to make it harder to charge in there. The Americans also do think need to start adapting a bit more. We do get War Machine there. We do get the buildable EC8s lined up here, so like looking at some Brad Pitts in the near future here out of the Americans. They just need that tank depot out. Of course, this could also be the moment where the Germans might be able to like push a bit harder there. Because the Americans definitely end up staying around, I think, in this stage a bit too long without being able to finish the match. At which point the Germans here has a small rhythm too to like really push back there before like, you know, the EC8s and the other big tanks really arrive. Panzerman forwards here. Panzer III out engaging there with his 50mm cannon. Definitely catch the Americans a bit of a tough spot. Pack Fitch on the flank here. Hoping to get some hits in the Scots here. And the Americans also getting a bit more tunnel mission, ignoring the flanks here more and more, which of course could be exploited by a good flank with the Panzer III there. But it seems like Blueskid is perhaps also just a bit tunnel vision. The west side here though. FutureNP they're pushing in. It's such a weird name. I have a slightly hard time remembering it. Ooh, getting too close here and narrowly saved the Panzer Puny at least. Back at base for the Germans. We get our Panzer III as well there for Flokl. I mean, it's definitely, I think, the best opportunity. By trying to go from reserves, they give the Americans then too much time to, like, you know, bridge the gap and get the tank depots going. So far, another American player is building a tank depot. So again, the more Panzer IIIs they can get in there before the Americans get to the Shermans, the better. Blueskid, there's still yet to pick a battle, but at this stage, I mean, armoured support could be an option just for the loyalty. It could be battlefield espionage, maybe. Or Italian infantry. I'm not entirely sure what they do with Italian infantry, except maybe a lot of telemines. Yeah. Now, like, the Americans are going there. Tank depots going up for Noob. And we got it here as well, I think, for... Yep. FutureNP as well. So, both players there, committing to the tanks now. And yeah, they're both sort of just pushing for the Panzer IIIs. Again, it's like basically the best option right now to, again, just try and, like, you know, wedge in there between the various parts of the American strategy. But there's, like, this window opportunity to, like, do some damage and get the upper hands before the American war machine, you know, really hits its second stage there. In a sense, you know, striking before the American Death Star is ready, if you will. And for that, you really need the Panzer IIIs. If the Germans lose the opportunity because they try to, like, go for the bigger stuff here, they risk just losing on the spot. West side here, Panzer being engaged for rifle squads and the anti-tank half-tanks, a lot of damage being dealt. If Blueskid loses his tanks now again, it could be a big loss of momentum. Back here to Flokl, who's got another Panther in the way already, and over to FutureNP, whose tank depot is almost done as well. There's also, of course, the other element, which is the Americans don't have a lot of anti-tank weapons right now because, again, they're focusing very hard on, like, just, again, relying mostly just on anti-tank half-tank as they push ahead for the Sherms. They could go for bazooka teams, but they're clearly not too keen on doing that. Got the Pantry ready with Infantry. We do get a Hellcat there for FutureNP. This, again, is a way things could certainly get a bit tougher for the Germans again. And they really need to, like, try and, do more damage before that element started. Of course, once they get that, the Germans can then consider, like, if they're not completely stuffed, going for armed reserves and then bring in, like, Stuks or something heavier. We'll have to see. Trying to take out the Scotties, swing in with those Panther 3s here. But yeah, anti-tank grenades there, plus the anti-tank half-tank could be a massive problem. Artillery there forcing back the anti-tank guns plus the white phosphorus. Here we see Flokl misjudging the situation and risking losing one of his Panther fleets already. Yep, down it goes. Big blow there to Flokl and the 5th Panzergrenadier Company. And the ABC's force being forced back. In the west side, though, Blueskid is having much better luck. Part of this is just the map side. I mean, the east side is just not quite as great for tanks. It's a lot more bottlenecked, so it's a lot harder for Flokl to really utilize the advantage of the Panther 3, whereas the west side, a lot more open, so Blueskid can much more neatly, like, just play to the Panther 3 strengths, which is its speed, primarily. Not so much else. Well, that, in theory, numbers as well to get enough in the ground, because they are relatively cheap for a medium tank. Another Panther feeder for Flokl. Of course, at this stage, Flokl may just want to consider taking up, honestly, already, like going for armed reserves and pushing for the Stugs. The Blues get their more Panther feeders in the way. Again, his side of the map just works a bit better for it. Still, we got 294 on 46. The Allies are falling behind the Germans in terms of victory points. Now, again, that just strategic gap that happened. As while it's certainly part of an overall strategy, it does have that weakness at the moment. Again, like, you got that early bit with the anti-tank half-tanks, all the riflemen from Scots. And then the late game, there's a bit of a lack there in the strategies where they don't quite meet where the Germans with the Panther V's can actually exploit that. Of course, if the American metagame ever figures out a way to cover up that gap, that could be a massive problem for the Germans, of course.
Victory point under enemy control.
Better repairs here, we're capturing the anti-tank or grabbing them away from the Germans. That's actually a big loss there for Flokl, because that obviously means, in a sense, that gap just got closed by himself, at least for the American sides in the east here with Noob. Because now he's got the anti-tank guns, meaning he's a lot less vulnerable, plus we've got these hits being brought up. So, yeah, looks like he's kind of, for now, briefly at least, abandoning the east, going to try and just use the numbers to crush one player in this. On one side, I think that's actually pretty smart, basically forming up a, well, Panther platoon there, which is roughly 3 pens or 5 Panther 3s. That's actually, I think, pretty smart if they're fast enough here. Utilize the speed momentum. They could do a lot of damage here because the other guy, again, is going to be a bit sluggish here to respond. And so we can see Flokl here not as aggressively pushing, though he's clearly relying on Blueskid to do most damage there. Go wipe on FutureNP here. Good play there by the Germans. Good play. In that sense, even with the pack fit it's lost, they're kind of able to exploit the fact they're not exactly mobile. So good play there. Catching the Allies a bit off guard here. Anti-tank half-tank Hellcats moving in. They are also quick to some extent join up. Ooh, we got a lot of called in. And it's by Blueskid, and he's also gone for armed support here. Anti-tank half-tank knocked out. Of course, the Americans could bring in anti-aircraft half-tanks. At least somewhat counter this, obviously. I still think loiters in the current state are kind of dumb, but I think that goes without saying at this point. How's they're being engaged? We could see one of the Panther knocked out. Flokl there is definitely pushing his units to the limit. Howard's at least decrewed, but not destroyed. Oh, this was a fairly good push for the Germans. They really pushed off the left side here. Another Panther down, another half-track down. Got a lot of damage in. The shell squad's wiped. Several vehicles destroyed here, though none the Hellcats. So that was overall not too shabby there. Another Panther of Blueskid over to Noob. Of course, now has the EC8s but lacks the fuel to really just churn them out at the moment. You could consider fuel cache option to assist with that.
Command points are available for you.
Ground squads are being caught, being pushed back. Back here, Hellcat Reserve. We got Rangers now as well here for FutureNP. With some flamethrowers out of there. Might hope for bazookas, but no such luck for him. Maybe he wasn't hoping for bazookas, but...
Command points are available. They shall lead our forces to glory.
And command tanks as an option. I mean, definitely not a bad idea we got this many Panthers to get the extra boost. And there you go. Scott they caught here. Noob underestimating their Blueskid, and again the ability of the Panther Thieves. Got it knocked up. There you go. Pack 38s, perhaps a lack of coordination between the two in that sense at least. Almost cost Blueskid one of his Panther Thieves, but he narrowly salvages it. And certainly doesn't hurt to inform your teammate if somehow the opponent got two of you into tank guns, just saying.
Enemy down to 100 points. Confirm 100.
100 points left. Again, the Germans really, like, you know, have the upper hand now. Despite the heavy losses, they held out. The Allies weren't able to push through. And again, there was that just one, like, strategic flaw there currently, which they were able to, like, you know, just exploit.
Our victory point is being neutralized by the enemy.
That one moment to strike before the American Death Star got ready.
Enemy points at 75. Proximity alarm near our victory point. The enemy has taken a victory point.
Really, artillery fire, Panzer Pune rushing forwards here.
We have lost control of a victory point.
123 versus 63. Allies mentoring all 3 points neutral. Halting in the Germans attempts to shut them down and shut them out of the fight quickly. Grenades to 35. We could see another wipe here though on FutureNP. His infantry is definitely taking some pretty stinging losses right now actually. In the west side, the Panzers under Blueskid continue to harass and attack. I will also like comment on Nick. He's very good at just shifting the Panther Thieves about. He never fights in one position for too long. Like, he's definitely aware that what this, again, the Panther Thieves' strength is very much in the speed and mobility. Like, they're not tanks like, you know, slug it out with. They're tanks like pop in, do some damage, then get out. So, thumbs up to that. Second pair of Panther Thieves under Flokl withdrawing. No sign of additional Panther Thieves, so again, I'm getting the suspicion now, starting to like consider like, you know, armored reserves and moving upwards. Or maybe at least some command tanks. Ooh, Hellcat here for Noob, pushed a bit too far ahead here. We got the EC8 and the anti-tanks backing up here, so here, Flokl can't really exploit that. Ooh, that was lucky, somehow he didn't lose his Panther Thief to that. And there you go, Lauder called in. Prior to, of course, taking out that EC8 and getting Brad Pitt sent back. More pack 30s for Blueskid. Oh, some pack 30s in the first place for Blueskid. 63% on 95. And there you go, F Company out there for FutureNP. Not a big surprise, of course. Despite the nerfs, it's still an incredibly good ability. It's still hyper efficient since you're still getting over 1,000 manpowers, you know, worth of stuff for like, in a few minutes. I mean, it's just temporary. It's still like a massive advantage you're getting for a brief while. I mean, you see the Noob is like just churning out riflemen. He's gonna push for 6 squads. That's very bold. Honestly, I probably would expect maybe some bazookas as well or something, but... And there you go. F Company, of course, sees their enemy number 1, the ambulance, and he knocks it out. Sarge! Ambulance at 5 o'clock! Fire everything! Shoot first, ask questions later. Rangers pulling in here left side. Here we got the Panzerfleet moving up. The Panzerkampfwagen 3 Ausführung L. And back here to Flokl. Who's mostly got Panzerfleets now, very little stuff. And over to FutureNP with a lot of Hellcats and some other stuff. 55 is on 92. Rifle coming swinging in. We could see one of the Panzerfleets disable an anti-tank grenade. Hellcat swinging in. Lloyd is called in. Panzer 3 kaputt. Jorgen, lead Panzer kaputt. I guess you're the platoon leader now. Almost had another Panther 3 here. Really close call. East side here. Another engagement in the castle ruins. Right from there. Being engaged by countless German troops. Flokl's Panzers moving in. Perhaps looking to make a breakthrough here and crush Noop in the east. We'll have to see. He's in a bit of trouble here. 177 versus 55. You also got a push in the center with the infantry and some anti-tank guns there. When you're FutureNP, it's actually fighting like a lot of manpower. Like again, bazooka teams, rangers. I feel like there's a lot that FutureNP could do with all the manpower floating, to be honest. But say when the situation is this desperate, I don't think floating close to 1,000 manpower is particularly ideal.
Enemy forces have captured a victory point.
Panzer 3 is eager to move.
There you go, swing for the victory point here.
The enemy holds our victory point. Launch a counter.
156 versus 55. German situation looking rough. They got another Pantry in for Flokl. Again, their window of opportunity again kind of close to the Americans. Already like to swing him all the weight now. Again, I think they should have, like, after those first 2-3 Panzer 3s started, going for armed reserves and pulling up here. Okay. Got another big Panzer push on the way here. Hellcats on the move, catching one of the Panther 3s in the Flokl. Anti-tank support. There you go. Got a white bear on Noob. Mines exploding under one of Flokl's Panzer 3s. Rushing in here, we could see the remaining squad knocked out. Hellcats moving in, but that's a Hellcat on its own, meaning that could get swarmed by the Panzer 3s knocked out before we have a chance to hit back here. And taking advantage of the chaos on the west, could see Blueskid actually switch over some units to the west point. That's actually pretty clever there. Meanwhile, Flokl is struggling to maintain control of the Panther 3s that easily. Oh, good here on Noob in the close center east here. But now we got the Americans pushing together everything against the Germans. Of course, this is a great timing if they had the munitions for Loider, but they can't be using them here and there, so they can't really punish this. Still, making progress elsewhere. We could see another white pair Noob falling the west point. Yes, this is actually kind of end up using the Panzer fleets as bait to draw in the American attention and then make the progress elsewhere. If intentional, that is pretty savvy there by the Allies. Of course, the Allies are now still bunching up all the Hellcats. That said, the overcommitment to Hellcats do leave the Allies now more, exposed against infantry. And if you can just get rid of that Scott and maybe out some stuff. This is going to be a close one all the way, though. F Company again, summoned 4th. And there you go, even laying down some smoke to cover the units in the center. 67 versus 41. 39.
Proximity alarm near our victory point.
Charging in the Panther 3s here. Bold move, he just contest the point. Blueskid clearly willing to sacrifice the Panther 3s because he knows he's not going to be able to last much longer. Again, the way the American economy just kind of works here. Another Panther 3 down. We got 12 points left. Rushing the center here again. They're contesting the points as well as they can. They just need to hold a bit longer there. 6, 3, GG, and there you go. Game over. A close call here for the Germans. Despite again that moment where just the Panther 3s really allowed to push back, the thing is once the Americans were hit the second stage of their strategy, if you will, again once the Death Star went online, the German window of opportunity really, as you can see, they just quickly closed in. They could have maybe extended it there with just something a bit bigger, but you can sort of see again just the way the US economy is working right now. You don't really have a lot of opportunity, particularly with the army that just gets in like the fast Scots and again just start hammering away at you. So well played with the Germans. Allies, they definitely think, you know, Kurt Panabemp's a bit more adaptive there, but, you know, really close stuff there. So I hope you got this match. You'll learn something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment. This is Imperial Links and cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye, everyone.